Talking about cybersecurity right now with one of the leaders in the business, hopes certainly that it will be a critical partner during these technological changes. Technologies CEO Mike Gregoire is with us to talk a bit more about that. Mike, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here, Maria.
When the world is I don't know, so unnerved and worried about a slowdown in the economy, do you see that impact companies' abilities and willingness to invest in something like cybersecurity? Or is this an issue which is going to be resilient and sort of a must-buy for CEOs?
It's an absolute must-buy. As you start thinking about changing your own business model where you're becoming more of an application economy participant, you're going to be putting a lot of your own information, a lot of your customers' information out there, and the only way that you're going to be able to participate in this economy if people trust you. In order to trust you, you have to be vigilant about cybersecurity.
And I said to you during the commercial break that Jamie Dimon had said to me recently, look, at some point we're going to spend $1 billion on cyber. This is one of those unlimited things that is a must spend from a corporate standpoint. Where are you seeing the industries that are actually sort of doubling down on this, and who's spending the most?
Well, everybody's spending across the board, especially if you're a publicly traded company. Your board of directors are going to force you to walk through what you're doing to protect the company, what you're doing to protect your customers with respect to cybersecurity. So across all industries, but the ones that I think are most vigilant is obviously banking. We see a lot in retail, and up and coming is healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare, certainly after that scare with Anthem, which was hacked. Characterize the situation for us. Where are the bad actors? How are they getting our information?
Well, you have 3 or 4 different classifications of bad actors. You have the ones that are going after because they want to monetize it. You have what I would call the hackers that just want to hack to see if they can, which is less of a threat but still something that has to be monitored. And then you have the ones that I think are the most difficult are the ones that just don't like how you run your business or what you're doing with your business, and they want to inflict pain on you. And that can come from foreign governments, that could come from an employee that's unhappy, that could come from just about anywhere.
When you say they're hacking into it, I mean it's become something that people just want to do to prove they can do it.
You know, I see less of that now because it's become an economy and it's become a business. And what I see is the technique that they primarily do that is through taking advantage of somebody's credentials. So if you are a CEO of a company, one of the questions you want to ask your security team is, are all the identities, the people that have access to our systems, do we have that buttoned down? And you need to think about that in a more holistic view. Like if I'm just an average user of a system, there's a certain amount of security I need to go through. If I am the root user on your server farm, you want to make sure that I am who I say you are, because that's usually where the major hacks happen. It's not just through, somebody leaves their PC unattended. It's usually a trapdoor that's left open on a server, and a bad guy gets in there, sees the server, uses that server's credentials to get to all the other servers. And the next thing you know, you have this threat that you just really can't compartmentalize.
Yeah, so the identity is really critical.
Absolutely
you want to make sure you have that locked down. That's a really good point. Let me ask you about this issue over terrorism and tracking terrorists online, because Tim Cook from Apple made the comment that, look, if there's a back door for government to snoop on communication, then there's a back door, and the bad guys will figure out a way to get in there. Do you agree with that? Is there an onus on your industry and the technology industry to ensure that government is allowed to snoop in and so that they could track terrorism, is what they're saying they're doing?
It's a very touchy subject, obviously, and I think at the end of the day, what you want to do is work with your customers and make sure that they're guaranteed whatever you agree to do, that they're in line with it. And I think if you break trust with your customers, I think bad things happen to your business, and if bad things happen to your business and you're a security company, that's going to proliferate. So I think you have to be very careful with that.
In terms of security today, how would you characterize where we are in terms of the vulnerabilities?
We're better than we were, I would say, 2 or 3 years ago, but the attacks are getting more sophisticated, so you have to be vigilant. And to the extent that you can protect yourself as you do with traditional software, I think the next evolution of that protection is going to be analytics, where you're doing predictive analytics, where you're trying to anticipate how would somebody go ahead and hack into my system, and using software to go through multiple scenarios before the hackers do. And if they bump into a scenario that works, you can patch it and fix it before a bad guy does.
Yeah. Mike, good to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mike Gregoire there, the CEO at CA Technologies.